there, Ariana from Crafting Happiness here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you from start to finish how to crochet the Spring Vibes baby blanket. And for this tutorial, I'm going to work a smaller sample. Basically, I'm going to make a mini blanket just to show you how to crochet the actual blanket and then how to crochet the border around it. And for this tutorial, I am using double knit yarn in gray, in white and in green, and a 5mm crochet hook. And the blanket, it's worked with 2 strands held together, 1 strand of gray, 1 strand of white, and that's why we're using a bigger hook. And then the border will be crocheted with just 1 strand of green. And I'll be telling you exactly how many stitches to make for the big blanket, how many rows to crochet to get the same size as me, and I'll show you also how to make the border in green. So let's get started. We will start with the blanket design, the white and gray one, and this one is work, like I said, with 2 strands, 1 of gray, 1 of white. And this pattern requires you to have multiples of 3 plus 1 chains in your starting chain. On my sample, I've chained 28. For the main blanket, you will need to chain 84. So chain 84, and then we will start with the first row. And to start the first row, we will need to make a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So from the hook, count backwards, and on the 4th chain, make a double crochet. And then skip 2, and in the 3rd one, make 3 double crochet. Then again, skip 2, and in the 3rd one, make another set of 3 double crochet. And this is your repeat section. You need to skip 2 and then make 3 double crochet in next. And we repeat this all along the chain until we have 3 chains left. So let's do that really quick. And now we have 3 chains left. We will skip 2 and then we make 2 double crochet in the last chain. And this is your first row. Now let's continue with the second row. Turn and chain 3. This counts as a double crochet. Now we will make clusters of 3 double crochet in each space between previous clusters. So no need to count stitches. All you need is to find that space between the clusters and make 3 double crochet. So let's start with the first space and make 3 double crochet. Now into the next space and make 3 double crochet. And this is your repeat section. Make clusters of 3 double crochet between each of these clusters below. So we will be doing it until we have crocheted into the last space between clusters. And now we have 1 more space. These 2 double crochet count as a cluster. So in this space we make 3 double crochet. And now to finish the row, we are going to make a double crochet in the last stitch. So in this top chain right here, this is a double crochet. In the top chain right here, make a double crochet. And this is your second row. And now let's make 1 more row, and then I'll tell you the repeat section for this pattern. So turn, chain 3, and then in the first stitch right there make another double crochet like so, and we will again make 3 double crochet in between the clusters. Now I want to make a note that this space here between the 1 double crochet and the cluster does not count as a space between cluster. This is not a cluster, so we're not going to crochet in here. We're going to find the next space between cluster, which is this one, and we're going to make 3 double crochet. And again, find the next space. This is your repeat section, 3 double crochet between the spaces. So let's finish this row as well. And now this is classed as the last space. Remember, this space between the 1 double crochet and a cluster is not classed as a space. And in to finish the row, into the top chain here, remember this was a chain 3 that counts as a double crochet, so we will make 2 double crochet into the top chain, and this will finish row 3. And this is how it looks like. And this is your repeat pattern for the granny stripe. Repeat rows 2 and 3 all the way until your blanket is 100 centimeters long. My blanket has 66 rows, so I've made in total 66 rows. That counts as 100 centimeters. Now you might work with a different yarn, different hooks, so it's up to you if you choose to count the rows or just crochet until your blanket is 100 centimeters long. I will be making a few more rows just to build my sample, so I have some space to where I'm going to crochet the blanket. So I'll make a few more rows and then I'll meet you at the end of them to show you how I crochet the base border onto which I'm going to make the border. I've made a few more rows and this is what I have so far. This is my mini blanket onto which now I'm going to show you how to make a base border. And the reason we are making a base border is because we want to have stitches along the side. Right now we don't, we just have these double crochet stitches going across. We want to create a nice row of single crochet so we know for the border where to insert the hook. It also gives you neat corners, straight edges, and overall it just looks better if you make a base border. I recommend that every time you need to crochet a border. So we will start from where we left off. We are not going to cut the yarn. We are using the same hook with the same yarn, and we will start crocheting along the edge, and we will make 2 single crochet for each double crochet post. And it's quite simple. Insert your hook around the post and just make 2 single crochet, and then move into the next post and insert your hook underneath it and make 2 single crochet, and then into the next double crochet post around and make 2 single crochet, and so on. And this will create a nice edge. We have the stitches and we know exactly where to insert the hook when creating the border. Now the border might be a bit tighter, but it's better to be tighter than too loose. If it's too loose, you're gonna have curly stitches like this and it won't look that good. So it's better to have a tighter one and then you just stretch it. So let's crochet this border. Again, like I said, around each double crochet post, make 2 single crochet. And we continue like this until we have made 2 single crochet around the last post on that edge. And now we need to make a corner just so we can bring over the yarn to the other side, and we will make the corner into the base stitch right there in the corner. We will make 3 single crochet. That is 1, 2 and 3 into the same stitch. And now you can see the yarn is brought neatly around the corner, and now we can crochet around this edge, which is the bottom of the blanket. And in this it's easy, 1 single crochet in each chain. So make 1 single crochet for each chain you have until you reach the next corner. Okay, so now we have reached the last chain right here where we made the double crochet first time, and that is our corner stitch. We will make 3 single crochet in that stitch just to bring it onto the other side. So make 3 single crochet in that stitch, and now we are working along this edge. Now I will make this, I will stop the camera, make this side. It's identically like on this side, 2 single crochet for each double crochet post. So around it, just crochet 2 single crochet, and at the top it's easy, single crochet in each stitch until we reach the last in this edge, and that's your corner. You'll have to make 3 double crochet in there. So I'll finish this and I'll meet you at the end to show you how to make the border. So I have crocheted around. I've made 3 single crochet in this corner, which was the first stitch on the top edge. Now I am on to my last stitch onto the top edge as well. That's our last corner. Make 3 single crochet and we are done with the base border. Then slip stitch into the first single crochet you've made and fasten off. And this is what we have. As you can see, the border is a bit tight, that's why it's curling up. All you have to do is just loosen it up like this. And like I said, it's better to be a bit tighter than loose. And now we have neat edges, corners nice and rounded, and we have stitches all around onto which we can crochet the border. And before we start with the border, I know you're going to ask if you can make this in a different yarn. Do you really have to use 2 strands held together? I use 2 strands held together because I wanted this sort of salt and pepper look, white and gray, that looks like melted ice, and then the border bright green to resemble the fresh new spring grass. That's my design. Of course, you can make yours in any yarn you like. This pattern is adjustable. Just make more chains in your starting chain. Remember, you have 3 chains, multiples of 3 chains plus 1 required. You will have the pattern, the written pattern, linked in the description box below if you need more information. But yeah, you can make it with any yarn, and the border again with any yarn. Now let's start with the border. So let's bring in the green, and we will join into the corner of the blanket. So let's make I'm still using the 5mm crochet hook because this is one strand and it's quite thin, so we need loose stitches to make the border, and that's why I'm using a bigger hook than recommended for double knit yarn. Let's make a slip knot, and then we will join in the corner, and the corner stitch is the middle of the three, so that one in the middle, it's our corner stitch. Now join, pull the loop through, and we will chain 3. This is our first double crochet. Now into the same stitch, make 2 more double crochet and try and make your stitches use a lower tension. Don't make them too tight. If you need, you can actually use even a bigger hook, maybe a 6mm. It will look fine. The blanket border, it's quite dense, fluffy, and it will look fine even with a bigger hook. I will crochet also over my ends, so I don't have so much to weave in. Now the row 1 of the border starts with these 3 double crochet in a corner, and then we double crochet in each stitch along. So just make a double crochet until in each stitch until we reach the next corner stitch. I have now reached the corner stitch. I'll be making 3 double crochet in it, and this will bring us onto this side and crochet. Now I'll stop the video and I'll single crochet all around my blanket sample. Remember to make 3 double crochet in each of these corner stitches, and I'll meet you after I'm done to continue with the second row. So I've crocheted now all around my blanket. I will close the round by slip stitching in the top chain of the chain 3 we made at the beginning. So let's make a slip stitch, and then as you can see, the rows are curling. The row is curling up the corners. This happens because the sides are narrower than the blanket. All you have to do is stretch them, and then the stitches will loosen up and it will be flat again. Like I said, better tighter than loose. All right, so now we are continuing with our second row, and in this second row we will make another round of double crochet around the blanket, but this time we will crochet crocheted in the back loop only. So let's start with a chain 3, and then our next stitch is the second of the 3, so that is our corner stitch. We will make 3 double crochet but in the back loop. So instead of inserting your hook through the stitch like this, through the both loops, like so, we will insert it into the back loop only. The back loop is the loop that is away from you. So this loop that's towards you, it's called the front loop, and this is the back loop. We will be crocheting in these loops only. So in the back loop, make 3 double crochet, and that's your corner pattern. And then in all the other stitches, we will make double crochet stitches in the back loops. So again, pick up the back loop and make your double crochet as usual, and then into the next one and make double crochet, and so on until you reach the next corner. And into the next corner stitch we will make 3 double crochet. And the reason for this is that we want these front loops exposed, and we will crochet the scallops onto them, and that's why we are leaving the front loops unmoored. So I'll be doing this second row really quickly. It's very simple. Double crochet in a back loop only in each stitch, and when you reach the corner stitch, make 3 double crochet in the back loops, in the back loop. So I will meet you right here at the beginning of it, at the end of the row, to show you how to make the next round. I have now crocheted all around my blanket, all double crochet in the back loops. You can see the front loops exposed, and of course the corners are still curling. Don't worry, stretch the stitches, make sure the edges are flat, they will straighten. There you go. This is how it looks like now that we have stretched the stitches, especially the corners right here. Just stretch them, and now the blanket lays flat. Let's close this round by slip stitching into the top chain of the chain 3 we made at the beginning, and we are done with this yarn. We are going to cut it off, leave a tail so you can weave it in, fasten off, and we will start crocheting our first layer of scallops, which are built right here onto these front loops. All right, so again, let's join the yarn onto those front loops, make a slip knot, and then we will join 2 stitches before the corner. So you know the corner is this middle stitch of the middle double crochet of the 3 double crochet. That's your corner. 2 stitches before in that front loop we are going to join. And this border pattern does not have a specific pattern for the corner. It's all crocheted around with the same stitches. So we have joined the yarn with a chain just to make sure it's connected, and then let's start making our first scallop, and that will be a corner scallop. The center of the scallop will be there in that corner. If it helps, push this second row of double crochet down to expose these loops. So let's start. We are going to skip 1 loop and make the scallop into the next. And to make the scallop, we need 5 double crochet separated by chain 1s. So make a double crochet, chain 1, and in the same space, in the same loop, front loop, make a double crochet, then chain 1, and then another double crochet, and then a chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and a final double crochet into the same loop. So we need 5 double crochet separated by a chain. Now again, skip 1 front loop and into the next make a slip stitch, and this is your repeat section. We skip 1, make the scallop, skip 1, slip stitch, and we repeat this all around. Now you need for each side multiples of 4 plus 1 loops to match the scallop straight in the center. I will show you, if you don't have enough the correct number, I will show you how to hide or add stitches. Quite simple. Instead of skipping 1, we're gonna skip 2. If you need to hide 2 stitches, then we do that 2 loops, 2 scallops in a row. Just keep in mind the scallop needs to match the corner, and that will look good. What happens in between is not that important. It's not visible when you skip 1 or 2 stitches. It doesn't make an overall change to your design. Right, so let's continue with this. Like I said, again, the repeat is skip 1, make a scallop in the next. And to make a scallop, we make 5 double crochet separated by a chain. So that's 1 double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. Now onto our 4th double crochet, then chain 1, and the 5th double crochet. Now skip 1 and into the next slip stitch, and that's our repeat. Let's make another one. Skip 1 scallop made by double crochet, chain 1 times 4, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. So that's 4 repeats plus a double crochet. 5 double crochet in total. Then we are going to skip 1 and into the next we slip stitch, and continue like this until we are reaching the corner or on this edge. And I'll show you what to do if we don't have enough stitches. So now as we are approaching the corner, just calculate and see will your scallop be in the middle. And it's simple. Use the repeat. Skip 1 scallop, skip 1 slip stitch, then skip 1 cluster, skip 1. So into our corner stitch we'll end up skipping. So, and the cluster will be offset by 1, will be here. So what we need is to hide 1 stitch, so our scallop will be in the corner. I'll show you what I mean. So let's do the next cluster. Skip 1, make the cluster as usual, 5 double crochet separated by chain 1, and then skip 1 slip stitch. Now if we continue with the repeat, we have skip 1 cluster, but the cluster, like I said, it's 1 stitch away. So instead of skipping 1, we're gonna hide 1 stitch by skipping 2. That will make no difference in the overall design. So instead of skipping 1, skip 2 to match the corner with the cluster. That's all you have to do, and this is how you adjust the pattern. Because I feel like I need to say this, because a lot of people give up if something goes wrong with the pattern. There are ways to salvage, modify, slightly change the pattern. You don't need to be a crochet designer. If you see you are 1 stitch ahead or behind, simply skip it, or skip 2, or don't skip any at all. It's that simple, and overall look of your pattern will be absolutely the same. No change whatsoever in the overall look. So let's finish this. Chain 1 double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and 1 more, chain 1 and double crochet. And this is how you crochet these clusters. Again, skip 1 slip stitch, no special pattern for the corner. And this is how this edge looks like, and we will be crocheting this all around the blanket. I will quickly make it. If you need to go back and see how it's done, it's the same repeat. Skip 1 cluster, skip 1 slip stitch. Do that all around. If you have 1 extra stitch, skip 2. If you don't have stitches to skip, don't skip. And that's how you adjust the pattern. So I'll be doing this, meet you at the end, and we will go on with the second row for these scallops. I have now crocheted all around the blanket. I made my scallops. This is how they look like, and I'm here right at the end, and I'll be skipping 1 and slip stitching into the same stitch where we joined the yarn. So that's where your row around ends. Now we are not going to cut the yarn. We continue with our second row, the loops on top of the scallops, and we need to move the yarn between the first 2 double crochet posts. So we will be crocheting these loops in these chain 1 spaces. We have 4 spaces. We're going to create 3 loops. So let's slip stitch into the first chain 1, space, and let's start by chaining 4 and then slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. Then again chain 4 and slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. One more time, chain 4, find the next chain 1 space and then slip stitch in there. This is how the loop looks like. It's got these 3 loops on top, and now we are going to move the yarn into the next scallop by chaining 2 and slip stitch into that chain 1 space. And this is your repeat section. We chain 4 and slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, repeat that 3 times, and then chain 2 and slip stitch into the next scallop in the chain 1 space. So let's make one more repeat. Chain 4, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, repeat that 3 times, so we have 1 repeat. Now chain 4, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, that's the second repeat, chain 4 into the next chain 1 space, and that's our third repeat, and then chain 2 and slip stitch into the next scallop in the chain 1 space, and that's your repeat. Now there is no pattern for the corner again. This is all you have to do. Repeat this all around the blanket, around the scallops, until you reach here, the beginning of the round. So I'll make one more repeat to show you how it's done, and then I'll be stopping the video and meet you here at the end. So one more repeat, chain 4, then slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, chain 4, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, chain 4, slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. Now that you have 3 of these loops, chain 2 and move the yarn into the next column by slip stitching in a chain 1 space. Alright, so I'll be doing this and then I'll meet you here at the end, and I'll show you how to crochet the next layer of scallops. And now I have crocheted these chains around the scallops. This is how it looks like. Now you can see how it curls up and it looks really nice, fluffy, busy, perfect for a simple blanket like this granny stripe blanket. Now we have still at the back that row of double crochet, and we will continue to create the second layer of these scallops. So first let's close. So we chain 2 and we are going to slip stitch into the same chain 1 space where we slip stitch at the beginning, and this is how we close this round. We will have to cut the yarn again and fasten off, and this is how it looks like. Now it's really nice and fun border to make. Now we have this row of double crochet behind, and we will crochet this exact 2 rows. So we will make the scallops and then these little fun chains on top of the scallops. Pattern is identical. The only difference is that we crochet through the entire stitch. So you crochet the scallop through the entire stitch, not through the back or the front loops, just through the entire stitch. I will crochet this. There's no need for a tutorial for it. If you don't remember how to make the scallops, then just rewind back and see how I made them. This is totally identical pattern as this. So I will make this these 2 rounds, the scallops and these little chains, I have finished the second row of scallops. Like I said, identical to this ones. This is how it looks like, and your blanket is now complete. This is how it should look. Just keep in mind that this is the real size of your border, while this is not. So in this picture, the border looks like it's overpowering the blanket, but remember, your blanket will be a lot larger. It will be 80 centimeters by 100 centimeters, while this is the real size of your border, and you look neatly and balanced around your blanket. Right, so this is how it looks like. This is how it looks like from the back. It's flat on the back, and then you have this really nice, fun, fluffy, curly, busy border, perfect for your plain, simple granny stripe pattern. So yeah, this is how you crochet the Spring Vibes baby blanket. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them and help you. Happy crocheting!